Eric Bakker, naturopath. Thanks for coming back and checking out the channel. Talk about inflammation, but specifically what are the best foods to consume to drive the inflammatory response down in the body. I've made previous videos about explaining what inflammation is and why it's not good to have chronic ongoing levels of inflammation. Inflammation's fine in small amounts. In fact, we need inflammatory response to help us recover from things like COVID, sore throats, coughs, cuts, wounds, burns, acne, all this kind of stuff. So itchy skin, for example. So inflammation's fine, but when it's chronic and runaway, it's no good. So by consuming the right kind of foods, the anti-inflammatory foods, and by avoiding the inflammatory foods, you're going to be well ahead of the ballpark. Now remember that one of the big things is inflammation. Don't let this get too big. Keep your tummy down, keep your bum down, keep your body size in a nice smaller shape. Less fat on your body means less inflammation. So, of course, many people will talk about the anti-inflammatory diet being a plant-based diet, but it doesn't have to be that way. You can eat meat, you can eat eggs, you can eat chicken, you can eat other kind of foods which are considered pro-inflammatory, but you've got to only consume the best forms of those foods and in small amounts. So again, it all comes down to one word. Starts with the M. It's called moderation. So eating fries 2 or 3 times per day and burgers and sodas is not really moderation, is it? Having junk food is not good in my opinion, but if it's had few and far between, it's probably really good for you, because what it will teach you, like it's taught me over the years, that this food's crap and it tastes like crap and it costs a lot of money to eat crap. And once you learn to cook properly and eat fresh natural foods at home that are anti-inflammatory by nature, you won't want to go back to a junk food diet anymore. So the vegetables obviously rank really high. A plant-based diet ranks really high in the anti-inflammatory sense, and most people will talk about them. There are several classes of vegetables that we really want to just quickly discuss, especially the cruciferous vegetables, flowers with a little shape, like a cross kind of shape. And we're talking vegetables like arugula, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, radishes, turnips, watercress. There's a whole lot of these foods in that cruciferous family. They can be a bit peppery when you eat them because of the sulfur compounds in them, and they contain this stuff called glucosinates it's called, and which is very anti-cancer and good detoxification. So good to eat cruciferous vegetables to reduce inflammation in the liver and in the gut in general. They also contain good fibers which help to build good levels of beneficial bacteria. Nightshades, which are one of my favorites, tomatoes, eggplants, bell peppers, chilies, all contain very powerful chemicals called flavonoids and antioxidants and vitamins which help to reduce inflammation in the body. Don't be alarmed about nightshades. Many people will say they contain lectins, then they wreck your gut and create all these problems, but a lot of that's just nonsense. Science doesn't validate these statements. Mushrooms. There are many types of mushroom compounds you can eat. There are so many mushrooms that are available now for people. Lion's mane and the shiitake mushrooms. So, yeah, and very good to add to the diet. Many people are worried about fungal problems if they eat mushrooms, but it's not really an issue. If they're cooked properly, it's not a problem. Starchy vegetables. People get scared of these with gut problems. They avoid starchy vegetables like potatoes and sweet potatoes. But if you have a potato with the skin on and it's been baked, if you have sweet potato and it's cooked without lots of sauces on it and sugar, it should be fine. Small amounts of starchy veggie are fine for people, even with gut problem. Again, lots of mineral content and high fiber content. So one common thing I want to talk about what a lot of these vegetables do is the fibers and starches help to build up good levels of butyric acid in the gut. So they form stuff called butyrate, and it feeds up the colonic cells. So the cells in your gut really like the fibers in a lot of vegetables, confer a lot of health benefits. And of course, when you get good butyrate levels, it reduces colonic inflammation. The allium family, very powerful anti-inflammatory agents. Onions, red onions, garlic, spring onions, shallots, all these kind of bulbs well worth eating every day in your diet if you're looking at reducing inflammation down and especially boosting immunity up. Onions were highly valued and prized, especially by the Egyptians, for this reason, because the Egyptians felt onions were a very powerful part of building good health. And that was in an era before science, really, before microscopes, wasn't it? But they knew how good these foods were. If we look at fruits, a lot of fruits are anti-inflammatory, particularly the colourful fruits like the berries, raspberries, strawberries, blueberries, black currants, red currants. We grow all these foods in our garden. They confer many benefits, especially for the small blood vessels. They reduce inflammation in the body, they increase the way the blood flows in the body, and they contain a ton of good nutrition. So there's probably one of the most beneficial of all foods to eat would be in my opinion, would be the berries, especially as you age. But let's not forget avocado, which is the king of fruits because of the high fat content. Very powerful fruit to eat as you get older is 1 avocado per day. They call it nature's big green vitamin pill. People who eat avocados regularly don't need to take dietary supplements much in terms of minerals and vitamins. They're getting plenty of that through the fruit. So the top fruits, in my opinion, for inflammation are things like pineapple, guavas, mangoes, bananas, and especially papaya. Also gut dependent, depending on the state of your gut. And of course, apples and pears, 2 of the best fruits to eat for really promoting good bowel function and reducing the inflammatory response in the small bowel. People who eat apples every day don't tend to have stomach problems either, I find. They don't have much problem with their stomach. You won't find people eating Krispy Kreme donuts and having soda drinks every day. They don't tend to eat fruit because they've got such a ruined, destroyed ability to taste these natural sugars in their mouth that they're going to go more for the artificial stuff, which is a shame because it's nice for them to get more into the fresh. Legumes, of course, chickpeas, my favorite, but lentils, beans, peas, soy, these are all anti-inflammatory compounds that could be added to your diet. Nuts and seeds contain high levels of essential fatty acids and also vitamin E, different compounds of vitamin E, and lots of trace elements that are hard to get from many other sources like molybdenum and boron, for example. You'll get those things, including selenium. You'll get these minerals. You'll find them in things like Brazil nuts, walnuts, almonds. Excellent nuts to eat. Don't forget the sesame seeds, the pumpkin seeds, and the sunflower seeds. Very good sources of zinc and multiple other minerals that help to reduce the inflammatory response. So that's quite a lot of food I've just discussed there, but these are some of the key elements to add to your diet. When you put these foods in your diet, you'll find you won't really have much desire for crappy foods. Give it a try. Thanks for tuning in.